bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, check this out. I'm not starting the show until I get my dancing gifts. I don't see any. I see one from Bob. From Bob. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, August 25th. 238 days into the new year. Just 128 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your oh so humble host, Jimmy Church. Where are my dancing gifts? I mean, I just need to know what's going on. I think my computer's broke. Prove me wrong. Tonight is another Fader Night with Jon Rappoport. Open lines all night long. His No More Fake Newsroom. Later on in the show tonight, Ronnie McMullen's going to be here from Life Change Tea. He's going to be here to talk about his new products, take some phone calls, talk a little paranormal, a little conspiracy. The call-in number tonight, as is always on a Thursday night, it is 323-825-5045. Okay, I think I just got a dancing Elvis from John. Now that's what I'm talking about. That'll get a retweet, actually. That's pretty cool. I think that's from, is that Viva Las Vegas? That might be Viva Las Vegas. Check, coming in strong. And what is this? Jack, you're out of your mind. All right, let's get the dancing gifts going. It is Thursday night. It is Fader night. And your phone calls all night long. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Do Sky, do not ever post that picture again. That gif. Oh, man, that's called lots of vodka. I can't believe you just posted that. That was funny, though. Eric, coming in strong with Bootsy Collins. Where did you get this one from? It looks like some Saturday morning cartoon with Bootsy Collins. Wow, pretty cool. All right, where's my dancing gifts? Okay, here's another one. You guys are doing good. Bob. I love you guys. Egyptian princess. What is that? Oh, what? Okay, all right. That'll get a retweet. That's pretty funky. Is that technically a stripper if she goes from stars to a bikini? I don't know. I don't think that's... No, I don't. I don't think that's... I don't find that offensive. We got a SpongeBob SquarePants. That's always good. You guys are the best. And what is the... Oh, Napoleon Dynamite. All right, coming in from Race Hobbs. Race knows how to get to my heart right there. Pull at my heartstrings. Napoleon Dynamite. Watched it. I watched it last... about a week ago. And I got to say, I recognize how great that movie is. But you just need to go and watch it again. Napoleon Dynamite is a fantastically, brutally perfect film. Unbelievably great. All right. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. The Sandbox, like every Thursday night here at Fade to Black, is completely out of control. You want to come and join us? Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio and use the hashtag F2B. That's hashtag F, the number 2B, no spaces. We don't bite. All right, any questions or comments during the show? Yeah, be careful what you wish for. That's what they say. Okay, keep the dancing gifts coming. Come, Chippendales. Oh, my. You guys are out of control. Love it. All right. Let's go through our sponsors. We've got a couple of new sponsors we're going to announce on Monday, too. Very cool. But for tonight, CCC Publishing is still our newest sponsor on Fade to Black. Just go to their banner, JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on it, order Future Esoteric by author Brad Olson for $12.97, and that is a special Fade or Not price. Oh, I'm so sorry, Brad, to ruin your live read, but these gifts are out of control. You guys are good. You guys make me feel special. $12.97, and they will throw another free book in the box just for you. All you got to do is use the promo code Jimmy. Very simple, okay? And Life Change Tea, Ronnie McMullen is going to be here tonight. He'll be here in about an hour. And, of course, he is the sole proprietor of Life Change Tea and GetTheTea.com. All you have to do is mention Jimmy when you order over the phone or online, and you will get free shipping. We're going to talk about his new products tonight, one of them being Allison C. All right? Now, Studio Dome, the Fade or Not special. Yes, the TWS True Wireless Stereo Technology System, including two USB B2 speakers and power for just $129 in a hardshell case with power cables. Use the promo code JCRTWS to get 60% off of the normal price of $399. That's $129 all in, and you get free shipping. That's the Fade or Not special. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to my good friend Rob Halford. Is 65 years old. I was thinking about that today. 65. I can't believe it. And I remember Rob and I, he wouldn't let me smoke in his house, right? So I would go out. His beautiful home, too. It's beautiful in Phoenix. And I would go and smoke out at the front door. And so he would go out there with me and accompany me. But, and we were talking one day on his birthday, right? And he goes, looks down at the ground. He goes, Jimmy, I'm old. I'm 44 today. And now looking back, Rob, you're 65 today. 44 doesn't sound so bad, does it? 40. I remember that conversation specifically when he was complaining about being 44. And man, at that time, I was just 20. I was 32. I was 32 years old, 31. Gene Simmons today, they share a birthday. Yeah, Gene Simmons today is 67. Tim Burton, director Tim Burton today is 58. Sean Connery has made it all the way to 86. Alexander Skarsgård made the list because he played Eric Northman on True Blood, a truly, truly amazing role. He today is 40. And Elvis Costello today is 62. Now, who's cooler? I'm going to test you guys right now. Who's cooler? Rob Halford or Gene Simmons? There's your test. Who's cooler? Bob. There you go. Bob, you are quick. That was well done. And he put Halford first. He knows where my heart lies. I like Gene. Love Kiss. But Halford and Judas Priest, to me, that's kind of like the last word of everything, right? On this day in history, check this out. On this day in 1835, something that you probably have never heard about. It was 1835, the Great Moon Hoax. It was the first in a series of 6 articles announced the supposed discovery of life on the moon, and it appears in the New York Sun newspaper. It was about an observatory with a powerful new telescope in South Africa that had found evidence of life forms on the moon, including such fantastic animals as unicorns, 2-legged beavers, and furry winged humanoids resembling bats. The articles also offered these vivid descriptions of the moon's geography, complete with massive craters, enormous amethyst crystals were growing, and rushing rivers and lush vegetation. Readers were completely taken by the story, by the way. However, and failed to recognize it as satire. The craze over Herschel's supposed discoveries even fooled a committee of Yale University scientists who traveled to New York in search of the Edinburgh Journal articles. After the New York Sun employees sent them back and forth between printing and editorial offices and giving them the big runaround, hoping to discourage them, the scientists returned to New Haven, Connecticut, without realizing that they had been tricked. Kind of reminds me of the flat earth theory. It's the same thing. You just don't realize that you've been duped that the earth is flat, because it ain't. Fader fact, the U.S. dropped more than 2 million tons of bombs on Laos from 1964 to 1973 during the Vietnam War. That is equal to a plane load of munitions every 8 minutes over 9 years. Yeah, and that is a Fader fact. Tonight is another Fader night. It's Thursday night, best night of the week. I don't know how I'm going to top last night or the night before that, but we're going to do it tonight because it's Thursday. And Jon Rappoport is going to be here in about 15 minutes. Open lines all night long. And then later on tonight, Ronnie McMullen from Life Change Tea is going to be here. We're going to talk some paranormal and his new products. And the call-in number, as always, is 323-825-5045. All right, man, I need to hit this coffee. Got an email the other day. Had to do that without my cough button. It just had to do it. I had to do it. Got an email the other day. It actually was a one-liner, and it said, "Dude, how can you be a true paranormal radio host and drink and support Starbucks?" Well, easy. Love Starbucks. Man, the taste of this right here. French roast Sumatra. Man. All right. All right, everybody, just listen to me, and you need to follow me. You need to follow me. Take my hand. We're going to take a walk. We're going to have a conversation. Because I haven't talked about this in a while. I've been letting it go. Been watching this in the background and collecting my information. And I just need you to listen. Syria's civil war is not only one of the bloodiest conflicts ever, right? It's going down. We're talking about a very small country with a lot of destruction. Now, is it World War I? Is it World War II? No, it is not. But when you consider the size of the country and how many countries that are involved right now, it is out of control. And it's also one of the most complicated. So complicated that I've just been trying to wrap my head around it. And I put together some charts and some graphs, and I was just piecing things together over the last 2 weeks. Now I'm ready today to talk about it. And just listen to what I'm about to present to you. And we all know that it started up as this small uprising against Assad. But now, today, it is a friggin' bleepin' free-for-all. It's like, you remember when we used to play Smear the Queer? Right? It's like that. You know what I'm saying. That was a game we played growing up. The guy with the football, right? Everybody go tackle. It's like that right now. It's out of control. It's going in every direction. ISIS controls a big chunk of the country, but they are under attack from all sides. And as I started to compile this information and look at it, I don't understand how ISIS is still hanging in there. I don't. The Kurdish YPG and its allies. Okay, now this is where it's about to get a little complicated. But just listen to me. That's all you got to do. You're going to get your education right now. Okay, so we're going to start from the north. We're going to work down. The Kurdish YPG and its allies are fighting ISIS. Rebel groups such as the Free Syrian Army and the Syrian Democratic Forces, those are two separate groups, are also fighting ISIS. They are also competing. They're also competing Islamist groups like the Jabhat Fatah al-Sham, otherwise known as the Al-Nusra Front. They're also in the mix in the northeast, right? And it's so nuts with the Free Syrian Army and the Syrian Democratic Forces that are both against Assad, but who is supporting them? And I'm going to get to that in a second. The U.S. is fighting ISIS. So now we've got the YPG, we've got the Free Syrian Army, we've got the SDF, the Syrian Democratic Forces, we've got Al-Nusra, all fighting ISIS. We've got the United States fighting ISIS and backing up the SDV that I just mentioned and the YPG and the PPK. They're all fighting ISIS. Saudi Arabia is in the mix and their Gulf allies. They are backing the Free Syrian Army, who are fighting the Syrian Democratic Forces, who are backed up by Turkey. Turkey, who is backed up by Russia. But Russia is supporting Syria, the Syrian government. The Syrian government is being attacked by the Free Syrian Army, ISIS, and the Syrian Democratic Forces, and a bunch of other Islamic groups that I'm not going to take the time to list, but there's a bunch. And, of course, Jabhat Fatah al-Sham, which used to be called Al-Nusra, and they are being attacked by Hezbollah, Russia, ISIS, and the Syrian government. This is all going on at the same time. And this is just a piece of it. That's me working from the northeast, and I'm trying to get south and go southwest. Because as you continue on, you have the Free Syrian Army fighting the Syrian Democratic Forces. Wait a minute. Those two factions are against al-Assad, right? And both are supported by the United States. But they're also fighting each other. So they're both fighting the Syrian government and ISIS. Both are backed by the U.S., but the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, is fighting Russia. And they're backed by Saudi Arabia. It's insanity. And that's just the half of it. That's half of the country. How is that possible? So indirectly, we're fighting Russia, right? There's like 8 proxy wars going on at the same time, all inside of Syria. The Iranian-based Hezbollah militia is backed by Assad, while the U.S. is backing the YPG. Turkey hates the YPG because it fears of Kurdish separatism, and they don't want the Kurds to form their own country. But Turkey's letting the U.S. bomb ISIS from one of its bases. Are you confused yet? ISIS is in a firefight right now, with the United States, Turkey, the PKK, the YPG, the SDF, the Syrian government, Hezbollah, Russia, Iran, and Al-Nusra, otherwise known as the Jabhat Fatah al-Sham. They are not being attacked by, this is where it gets funky-er. They are not being attacked by the Free Syrian Army. ISIS has been left alone by the FSA. Saudi Arabia is not fighting ISIS directly, but everybody in the war in Syria is in one way or another fighting each other or supporting both sides at the same time. That's what's happening. I have mapped it out, and I have looked, and I'm telling you, tonight on the show, you can call in and ask me about any one of these groups, and I will tell you immediately who is supporting them, who they are attacking, and who are they supporting on the other side. It's nuts. It's the biggest crisscross mishmash insanity that has ever been. Nobody knows what is going on over there. Listen to me. Everybody involved in the war in Syria is fighting each other or supporting both sides at the same time. Everyone. And these are my words, and you can quote me directly. Now, over the last 2 days, Iran has literally floated up and kissed the United States Navy. When you look at the way that everything is plotted out right now in Syria, Iran is directly attacking ISIS. Yes, they have. Iran is also supporting Russia. Russia is flying planes out of Iranian, out of the country, out of their air bases. Iran's also supporting Hezbollah. They're also supporting the Syrian government, all at the same time. But they're also the most effective fighters right now against ISIS. I have no idea why the U.S. Navy did not shoot and sink their boats. They showed restraint that I don't have in those waters with all of the terrorist activity that has gone on over the years, and hijackings and armed this and boats and crazy and explosives like the USS Cole using small boats as bombs. And you go and you cruise up to United States Navy frigate or destroyer like that at high speed. What do you expect to happen? It's a crazy thing for Iran to do, but they did it. And with the conflict that's going on in Syria right now, why would they do it? You have to ask the most obvious question here. Is this an attempt at a false flag? And I don't go there. But why do this? Is it an attempt to drag Iran into something? Iran right now is only fighting directly against ISIS. Yeah, they're supporting Russia, and yeah, they're supporting the Syrian government. But they're also fighting ISIS. So what is going on? I'm not sure what this would achieve. It doesn't make any sense. We have the current nuclear agreement that was just implemented. Is it possibly to stop the payments of that? Is there a reason? Or to cancel the agreement? I'm not sure there either. Doesn't make any sense. Is there something going on behind the scenes with Iran to have them do something like this? I'm not sure. Is this some kind of crazy agreement in the background? Hey, man, just go up and kiss our boats, right? Just kiss them. We'll fire some warning shots. You guys just drive away, right? Catastrophe averted. I don't know, but why do it? That's the question. Why do it? Although you can't trust the mass media, you just can't. But not only directly or indirectly, but if we're looking at this, Iran has been involved with driving ISIS out of massive amounts of Iraqi territory and cities. They have. They've been instrumental in that. And I'm not calling them an ally, but certainly they got more done there than we have ever done. Right around Baghdad. Why draw them or us into something that would complicate an already complex war that is being fought, by the last count that I have done, 18 different, it's actually 25, but I'm going with 18 different countries, factions, and religions. That's what's going on there right now. Now, I'm not an overly religious guy. I'm just not. I believe in a higher power. There's something going on, and that's me. Right? But I'm also not somebody that believes in prophecies. Armageddon, the four horsemen, fantastic tales written in the Bible. Do not send me an email about it, please. But it's good reading and it's good fiction, and I get that. But we've all grown up listening to the stories about how everything would start off in the Middle East and World War III would begin there. We've all heard the stories. How every world power would get sucked in and things would just unravel. Right? We've heard the stories. But seriously, what started off as just another revolution and government coup d'etat to bring down Assad has now gotten totally out of control with no end in sight. I don't get it. All of this in a country that until a few years ago nobody talked about or even cared about, and I'm talking about Syria, unless it involved Israel in some border incursion where Syria was sent running after a couple of volleys from a couple of tanks on the Israel side. And even all of this was kept in check, which is probably the more important thing to ask here. Why Syria? Nobody cared before. They don't have anything that we want. There's nothing there that the world wants. They've got a couple of oil wells. It's not that big of a deal. They don't export anything. The country is dirt poor. So why Syria? Is this the prophecy that we all grew up hearing about? It's one of those situations where I've got to sit back and wonder what is going on. Is this actually the one? I don't know. But you have to ask yourself, why did the world let this happen? Everybody did. Everybody let this thing go. Right now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the world just let this go. I don't know why we did. Russia, Turkey, Iran, Iraq. We had forces all over Iraq, and we just let this thing unravel. It may be that these tensions and the anger were brewing for decades, and we didn't understand it, and right now it's just being brought to the surface. I get that, but one thing is for sure. ISIS will be defeated. They cannot continue fighting everybody on every front. That part is going to end. But what happens after? There are another 4, 5, 6 wars that are being fought at the same time inside of Syria. And honestly, there is absolutely no end in sight. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader night. It's Thursday night. And on that note, let's all smile and have a great night. Jon Rappoport is on his way in. Just wait. You got to love it. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. We'll get to all of that. When I come back, it's Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously. Give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. EXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. GetTheTea.com is the place where the popular Life Change Tea calls home. But did you know Get the Tea is also where you can purchase GMO-free organic supplements? You can read about their potent power at GetTheTea.com. Also, they just added a YouTube channel called Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Education about our health can be a life change. Maybe that's why our famous tea is called Life Change Tea. Learn about the trees for life. Our supplements have no fillers, no wheat, no rice, no garbage. And our tea is wow to the body. Make a conscious health change. Educate yourself on the most powerful essence of life, which is your health. You want more? Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or visit our YouTube channel at Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. And don't forget our fabulous mild detox tea at getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Welcome, folks. Back again for another segment here on Fade to Black. So, this week I wrote a piece, posted at No More Fake News. Are we living in a virtual simulation? Is it a code written on a two-dimensional surface that is then projected and forms the space-time continuum, etc., the lattice that underlies everything? And I went into a great many other subjects in that article, but then I followed up with an article about tonight's subject, an artist, a painter, Salvador Dali. Salvador, Domingo, Felipe, Jacinto Dali, etc., etc. There are many more names. 1904, 1989. The Melting Watch, that's maybe his most famous image. If you're not up on his work, you can find it all over the net. The painter Salvador Dali. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read some segments from the article and comment on them. His self-appointed task: shake up reality. Make the impossible intrude on the ordinary. Expose and confound the critics and the press. Whenever the establishment tries to define who he is, he becomes something else. The critics would have declared Dali a mental patient if he hadn't had such formidable classical painting skills, and believe me, he did. He is perhaps the greatest draftsman among artists of the 20th century. Quite startling. Quite startling. And if I were to recommend a few of his paintings, Christopher Columbus Discovering America, The Last Supper, and The Hallucinogenic Toreador. You can check those out. He placed his repeating images, the notorious melting watch, the face and body of his wife, the ornate and fierce skeletal structures of unknown creatures on the canvas as if they had as much right to be there as any familiar object. And then, of course, you would find on the same canvas a lamp, a couch, a book, perfectly rendered as if they'd been photographed. So what was he doing? He was taking apart reality, and he was putting it back together in his own inimitable way. And why is that so disturbing to people? Because the critics hated him. They still hate him when they get a chance to talk about it. And why is that? What's the problem here? Well, the problem with most people is that they don't want reality taken apart. They don't want it to be disturbed. They don't want it to look different all of a sudden. And they certainly don't want some alternative reality to look absolutely convincing. But I know that with you folks out there in the F2B audience, you have a different viewpoint. You are looking for different realities. You are looking for alternative existences. You are looking for what's happening behind the curtain or in outer space or beyond where the major ministry of truth wants to go. You're alert to that. You're interested. Why is that? Why is that? Where does that begin? What's the genesis of that desire? Where does it come from? What's happening there? Well, I would say that the obvious answer to that question is that you are dissatisfied with things as they are. Now, some of you might say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not so sure about that. But yes, really, under the surface, I think that if anything defines an audience here, it would be dissatisfaction with things as they are. So here was a painter, a world-famous painter. And not only was he doing this on canvases, but when he was frequently interviewed by the press, he would make up incredible stories about himself, about his origin, about his birth, about his childhood, about the dimensions of various animals that he alone had discovered, and he would present sometimes photographs that had been doctored of lions and so forth that showed, you see, they actually have elongated bodies, but you people are missing it. And so even the press was unable to pin him down. And today we would call that messing with the media. We would call that striking back at the media. We would call that putting the media back on its heels. And that's what he was doing in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, whenever somebody would interview him. His idea was that there were realities beyond this one, and he would put them on the canvas, and he would show them to you. He would discover them, he would invent them, whatever. And he would make you see them, which he did. Because again, he had formidable drawing skills and painting skills. I mean, to some people, it was quite mind-boggling what he could do on the canvas. But he was not trying to copy nature. He was rearranging it, shall we say, with his own intrusions. And isn't this what is at the bottom of independent psychology, what I would call independent psychology? That is the desire to discover and even invent realities beyond this one. This one, in case you haven't noticed, is getting too crowded. Way too crowded with stories, with psyops, with propaganda, with fake realities that are being presented as universal consensus, that we all know this is true and that's true and this is true because the experts tell us and the media tell us and so on and so forth. People want to break out of that prison. But for some reason, and we could probably track that down if we had 7 or 8 hours, they don't usually go to the artists. They go elsewhere. But Dali is a place that you want to visit. An exciting, thrilling, disturbing, sometimes nightmarish space that he creates, and creates it in a way to rival any reality that currently exists. That's his self-appointed task. That's what he's showing you. That's what he's doing. He is saying, if you are dissatisfied with things as they are, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Doesn't matter on what level. Dissatisfied politically, economically, spiritually, psychologically, in whatever realm. Wherever you see something parading as reality that you know isn't, he's there. He's ready to take you to a different place. He is one of the artists who does that. And unfortunately, this is not part of our educational system. Art is not studied that way. Art does not get down to the student's dissatisfaction with things as they are on a really profound level. In the 1980s and early 90s, I worked with a brilliant hypnotherapist named Jack True. We collaborated, we did research together, and time again, he would point out to me, the people that come to see me as patients are dissatisfied with reality. But some of them, many of them, don't really know that. They are presenting me with other problems. But what I find when I work with them, this is where the problem really gets down to. They are dissatisfied with reality. They no longer believe in ordinary reality as the final presentation of existence. They think there is something else going on. And they want to find out what that is. So his answer was, what's going on is within. It's within each person. What's really going on. In other words, the seeds of reality beyond this one are already there within each person. And they can be brought out. And they can be put on parade and display so that that person can see them and see that they come from him. And now confirm and acknowledge and realize that they have been walking around all their lives with a hidden treasure of alternative reality or realities that on the surface they have been reluctant to admit to. This is what Dali does on the canvas. He is showing you this. He's saying, are you dissatisfied with things as they are? Well, how about this? How about this watch that is melting on an unending plain that goes out to the horizon, and this giant bone of some unknown creature, and this little perfect table that's sitting there with a book, and a clock, and a chair, and a person standing next to it. Does this give you a somewhat eerie feeling? Yes, it gives me an eerie feeling too. That's why I painted it, because something is going on here. We may not know exactly what it is, but it's going on. It gives us a sensation that we don't encounter in daily life. But we know it's there. Sometimes we find it in dreams. Why are we so fascinated with dreams? Because there we experience not only landscapes and people and so forth that we never see in daily life, and events that we never take part in daily life, but we also experience sensations and feelings that we don't ordinarily experience in daily life. Or if we do, in the dream, it's all heightened. It's all brought out to enormous dimensions. And Dali is saying, I know this. You know this. What are we doing? Are we just sitting around talking about nothing and fooling each other? Let's get down to it. Look at this painting. Look at this painting of Christopher Columbus discovering America as it never happened, but yet on some subconscious level, there he is walking up out of the sea onto carved stone steps on the shore. No, that didn't happen. Of course not. But doesn't it trigger some memory, perhaps, or some feeling, some sensation that's lost behind somewhere in the mists of the past? Maybe it's just suggesting something else that you've experienced on some level, on some subconscious level. Or maybe you lived before. Maybe you're plugging into a memory that exists of a time thousands and thousands and maybe even millions of years ago when civilization was completely different. Not primitive at all. Who knows? But that's real. You know it's real on some level, and I know it's real, so why don't we think about that together? Why instead are we talking about when the thing that we really want to get down to is this thrilling experience that we can't quite describe. We don't quite know what it is. We don't know exactly where it comes from. Some of us have ideas about that, but there is something very mysterious about it. That's what I'm showing you on the canvas. That's what I'm painting. That's what he's saying. Here it is. I know that this is not just me, the painter, doing something in total isolation from the rest of the human race. Obviously not. Because many people are standing in front of my paintings in museums. They want to look at them. Some people don't want to, and they still look at them. We're connecting on a different level. The level of this mystery, the level of this reality beyond this reality. Why at the root, the psychological root I'm talking about now, are so many people so fascinated with the subject of UFOs? Because that is definitely not things as they appear to be or things as they are. Now, from there, it goes into all sorts of stuff, but that's where it begins. How in the world is somebody who's completely satisfied with things as they are going to even dip his toe in the water of the UFO phenomenon? It would never happen. There has to be that thing at the root. People talk about harmony. We must achieve greater harmony. And harmonious this and harmonious that. Oh, yes. The great, beautiful, gooey, marshmallow harmony in which we will all participate and so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. Yes, but wait a minute. What about that root, that psychological root of dissatisfaction that launches an entire exploration and an entire life? What about that? That is the discontinuity being perceived by you. Wait a minute. Things as they are, that's not the whole story. The harmonious blah, 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 that's not the whole story. Something is out of kilter here, out of whack. And I want to find out what that is. So let's look around and let's see what's going on behind the curtain. Let's see what's going on in outer space. Let's see what's going on in what would be a true reconstruction of the past on this planet. The real history, the places and times when it's been rewritten and written over and suppressed and buried. All that comes from that dissatisfaction. Dali was fascinated, to say the least, with the dream, with what happens in the dream. Because look, in waking life, most people want story, some kind of story, by which I mean, stay with me on this, beginning, middle, and end. That's happening. Everybody wants that. We watch television. Okay, the story has a beginning, it has a middle, and a crisis, and then it has a resolution, the end. Oh, okay, all right. So I fed that addiction. Where's the next one? Let's click the channel and find another story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Boppity, beep. But in the dream, in your dreams, when you dream at night, and Dali was well aware of this, everything is all shook up. You don't dream in the most vivid dreams with beginning, middle, and end. Come on, admit it. That's not the way it goes. What happens is vividness. You're there in the dream, totally. Things that are happening are electric, in the moment, right now, realer than real, surreal. Okay, that's what that means, super real. And scenery may shift, personnel may shift, events may shift. You're not looking for beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end. That's an addiction of waking life. That's the way reality, fake reality, is laid out. That's television. That's soap opera. That's drama, melodrama, silly drama, to which millions, billions of people are totally, solidly addicted as a drug in waking life. But in the dream, something entirely different is happening, a different kind of reality. And when a person, you, wake up from one of those super duper, super real, vivid, fantastic dreams, are you thinking to yourself, gee, I don't know if I like that. There was no beginning, middle, and end. Are you kidding? You're on fire. You're saying something like, man, that dream is more vivid than my life. That's what Dali is saying on the canvas. Here's a dream that's more vivid than life. I can't guarantee that you're going to fall in love with this one, but if not, look at another one of my paintings, and another one, and another one. You're going to find one, more than one, where you say, yeah, this is my kind of dream. This is the kind of dream where if I were in it totally, I would feel 100% alive. We all know what that phrase means. Come on. We know what that means. Whenever that moment comes, wherever it comes, wherever you are, whatever you're doing or not doing, or whatever, if you experience that 100% alive, you feel it down to the tips of your fingers. You feel it in your brain, in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, in your sensations, everywhere. You are alive. And that has nothing to do with ordinary consensus reality. That is way more than ordinary consensus reality that we see around us. That's what he was saying. And he was putting it in terms of the dream, because everybody has had that experience in dreams. He was saying, let me show you this dream. Here's one that I concocted. Here's another one. This is a fantastic one. Look at this toreador, hallucinogenic toreador. Look at this one. Look at the melting watch. Look at this gigantic skeleton of some unknown creature. Look at the just juxtaposition of all of these things that gives you that sort of, stirring sensation. This is what's under the surface in the subconscious. This is what's out there in space, beyond this planet, beyond this galaxy. This is what is behind the curtain. This is everywhere, really. This is in dreams. This is in far more places than ordinary waking consensus reality life, and you know it, and that's why you're here, and that's why you are the Faders, and that's why you are listening to all of Jimmy and the guests, because it's hitting the sweet spot where you know, I know, Jimmy knows, we all know there's something else going on. Something else is going on. And here's a painter that knew that in spades and was doing it in spades all of his life. And of course, the critics would like to minimize as much as possible what he did, because they are selling ordinary, everyday, beginning, middle, and end, consensus, cheap reality. Okay.
You're the best.
My report for tonight.
You are the best. You know what? I went to art school and I would look at Dali's stuff, and I tried to replicate his thing, his idea, his technique. Trying to paint a dream. Could never do it. I gave up. But every critic of his, I guarantee you, if they could have done what he did, they'd have done it. They would have absolutely done it. And I can only imagine if you had the ability to take a cable and plug it into your ear and plug into Dali's ear and see what he was seeing, the way he walked around and looked at the world, that's the way that he saw it. And that's, you know what I mean? He walked around in that dreamscape, and he lived it, and he painted it. And you're absolutely right. Everything that you just said was very moving. And thank you for that. And thank you for sharing it with the Fadernauts tonight. You're the best, John.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You're the best. Have a great, safe weekend, John, and we'll talk over the next couple of days. Be safe.
You too.
Jon bleeping Rappoport. Did this show change after John came on board? Are we all just a little smarter? Does this show now become legit because we have Jon Rappoport in tow with us? Right? He's making us all look like we've got it together. Thank you so much, John. You are the absolute best. That was amazing. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. When I come back, Ronnie McMullen is going to be here from Life Change Tea. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Fadernauts. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code JIMMY when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go back, Lee Tepe. IRA and 401k account holders, are you crossing your fingers for the stock market to continue its bull run, or hoping for a miracle to pay off our $19 trillion national debt? American Bullion wants you to think for a moment. If we go through another significant stock market correction and things begin to unravel, you could suffer some serious losses. On the other hand, gold is a proven long-term asset that could hedge and protect your retirement accounts from getting washed away. Call American Bullion now and let them show you how easy it is to transfer your existing IRA or roll over your 401k into a gold IRA. American Bullion has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and is a leader in gold IRAs. With just one call, their experts can explain everything there is to know and get you started with a free gold IRA guide. Call 1-800-545-2525. Don't procrastinate. Save your retirement. Call American Bullion now at 1-800-545-2525. That's 1-800-545-2525.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. It's Fader Night, Thursday night. Open lines, taking your calls all night long. 323-825-5045. I've reset the phone line, so everybody that's been calling in tonight is sorry about that. But when I say open lines, that's when. All right? Now, I'd like to welcome back to the program Ronnie McMullen. Ronnie, how you doing tonight?
What do you say, Jimmy?
It's all about you, Ronnie. It's always about you. It's not about me. It's always about you. Ronnie McMullen from Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com is joining us and for this next segment. And we're going to take your calls. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk some paranormal. And for those of you that don't know about Ronnie and his past, Ronnie is, I'm going to call you retired, but you're not because you're on this show every time that, you know, hey Jimmy, man, when am I going to do the show again? Hey Jimmy, see,
I
you
like
can't
doing the show with you, Jimmy.
You can't.
I think it's good.
You can't get it out of your system, man.
I can't. No. I can't. I'm like trying to shut down and shut up, and I can't.
Hey, Ronnie, are you on speakerphone?
No.
You must live in a castle. Because it sounds like a huge room behind you.
I know, but I'm not in a castle. But we could think that way and make it more weird tonight.
Okay, there you go. Ronnie is a former broadcaster, and he had a show that covered the paranormal, UFOs, and all things fringe. And it's great when you come on to talk about that kind of stuff, as well as your products and getthetea.com. So I'm going to open up the phone lines for Ronnie tonight. If you've got any any health issues, go to getthetea.com. Just go over there and check out the page, check out his products. And also, I would recommend, like I do every night in the show, go to the specials page because Ronnie's got packages that are put together that he's got running on special. But each one of them is grouped in a specific way, too, as well. So go check that out. And if you've got any questions, you've got any issues or anything, give us a call tonight. Ronnie be more than happy to answer your questions. And there you go. So let's get started, Ronnie. I announced last week that I have started a new regimen.
Yeah.
And it is pine bark extract, eighth element, and Allison C. So that's what I'm doing every single day. And I feel good. I feel great. Is this an accidental combination? And take me through that. I want to start with Allison C because this is your newest product and you're very happy about this. What is Allison C?
It's equal to like 34 to 40 cloves of garlic, except the good thing about it is, garlic is so good for us, but if we take garlic, we smell like garlic, we burp garlic, it comes out our skin, and nobody wants to be around stinky garlic. So the wonderful thing about Allison C, or Alli C, is that it doesn't smell like garlic. So you take the pill, you get 34 to 40 cloves is what the equivalent is, because it's just the allicin is extracted, which is the healing part of the plant. And what it does for you is enormous. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but you'll find it very hard to have sickness, or you'll find it very hard to have a cold, a flu, whatever, if you are normally taking Allison. So it's, I love it. I've been on it let's put it this way. I'll just speak about me.
Okay, you can back off. You can back off the microphone just a little bit.
Okay. How's that? Is that
Yeah, that's great. It's great. Go ahead.
We're getting it.
Yeah,
It's hot tonight. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I've been on it a month and a half, and it's lowered my blood pressure to normal and took my triglycerides way down. So it's a beautiful thing.
And what are triglycerides?
That's a good question. It goes with cholesterol, and if you have triglycerides that are hot and heavy, it can clog up your arteries, and you're not going to be doing good. And the same with cholesterol. So you got to watch your cholesterol, triglyceride levels, as well as your blood pressure.
Lorelei just tweeted. She said, "Are all of your products organic or GMO free?"
And the answer is yes. Okay. The only thing that is not organic, and it is, but it's not, let me explain that, is an extract, because an extract can't have the organic stamp on it because of the way it's formulated, but it's still from an organic plant. And all of my stuff is non-GMO.
There you go. That answers that question. So Allison C then, garlic and Alli C lowers your blood pressure. What else does it do for you?
It gets rid of viruses, bacteria, the GI tract. It takes care of the GI tract. Irritable bowel syndrome, which colostrum kind of helps with that as well. But basically, it gets rid of harmful digestive bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. And it leaves all the good stuff like acidophilus and what have you. So the neat thing about herbs is herbs know to go into your body, fight the stuff that we'll call it the foreign stuff, and leave the good stuff. And that's what's neat about herbs. So when you're taking pharmaceuticals, you got to be careful because they sometimes will interact with herbs. So if you find you're taking herbs and pharmaceuticals at the same time, and your pharmaceutical's really not working well, it's because your herbs are going to town. So you want to keep some time away from that stuff, and consult your doctor, what have you. But I noticed that because pharmaceuticals are synthetic, most of them are synthetic. If you ask your doctor, whatever you might be taking, there's just so many people on stuff, is this synthetic or is this plant-based? And most of the time they're going to tell you it's synthetic. And so we really weren't meant to have synthetic. I mean, some doctors will very much argue, and I'm not a doctor, but Everything we need is in the herbs, and herbs were created before man. So, I'm kind of an herb guy. I will go to the doctor. I'm behind doctors, but sometimes they go the other way a little too far.
I always think about Chris Tucker in the movie Friday when we talk about this stuff, when he says that line to Ice Cube, God put this on the earth for me and you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It is so true. Now, Eighth Element, that's the second part of my triad this month. And what does Eighth Element do for me?
It does a lot. It's basically shrooms. I always tease. It's shrooms. It's mushrooms, man.
Right.
But it goes in. It's the big thing I notice people have been asking for is erectile dysfunction, which is kind of crazy. And pine bark will do that, but so will Eighth Element. And Eighth Element has a lot of benefits to it. It definitely works on your blood pressure as well. And gets rid of fungus and gets rid of bacteria. So it's really a power, and it also works really good for diabetes. So it's really I love the product.
And the third thing that I'm taking right now is the pine bark extract. And these capsules are like dark brown. All of your other stuff are it's always light colored. But this is, it looks like bark. It's dark brown. And what does this do for me?
It has really good functions for your kidneys and for your liver. Definitely boosts the kidney function, improves the kidney function, decreases the risk of kidney damage from like hypertension. So in hypertension, obviously a high level of blood pressure. Treats hemorrhoids. What else does it do? Diabetic retinopathy. So it's really good for your eyes. Arthritis does really well for your arthritis. Another erectile dysfunction stimulant, you might say. Stimulates the immune system. And of course, all of these products we've been talking about tonight are great for the immune system, boosting the immune system. And that's what's being attacked in everything we're doing is the immune system. This is why colostrum, the tea, all this, everything. If your immune system is your wall, it's your firewall. So when the firewall breaks, you break. And so these are all to get your firewall back up. And so this is why, and if your firewall's down, you're going to get disease. You're going to get sick. You're going to get colds. And I challenge people, see how many colds you get by taking Allison. So it's a rocker. You're going to love it, Jimmy.
Well, this is, and Rita and I were talking last week about you, and one of the things that we were, putting together a regimen that we were going to do this month, and we settled on these three, and she looked at me and she goes, I got to tell you, that colostrum, and we did that for 3 straight months. She said that was remarkable. I mean, absolutely remarkable. I felt it. And we had something funny that happened with the two of us with the colostrum powder, which we became literally addicted to. I'm serious. When it came to that part of the day when we were ready to drink the powder, it's like we were fighting over banana splits or hot fudge sundaes. Our hands started to shake, and she's like, "You put in more powder in yours than you did mine." We're fighting like little kids. We really got addicted to it, but something happened, and it's this. And again, I'm not endorsing or trying to say that this will happen to you. I'm just telling, and I've never shared this with you, Ronnie, but we had a hard time after about a month and a half of eating fast food. In that I used to be able to. I'm a big fast food guy. I'll admit it. I like fast food. I know it's not good. It
tastes good.
I don't care. It's I like French fries and chocolate shakes together. I mean, it's part of America, and I just grew up with it, and I love it. Now, that being said, I used to be able to plow through, don't freak out, like a double Whopper with cheese, large order of fries, chocolate shake, and wash it down with a large Dr. Pepper. Done, right? No problems, no issues. And so we've almost nearly stopped now for about the last month and a half of any fast food at all. Haven't done it. And because we were going, part of it is when we left the studio at night and going home at 11 o'clock, and now it's dinner time, and we were, depending on fast food restaurants, and we would just pull in, and we were starting to mix it up. Oh, we did Del Taco. Let's go do Jack in the Box. Oh, we did that last night. Let's go to Burger King. Let's do this.
Right.
Never McDonald's, by the way, oddly enough, or Taco Bell, and so anyway, we would buy the food and we would come home and we would start eating half of it.
Yeah.
Half.
Yeah.
And Rita was just like, it got to the point where she wouldn't eat it at all. Didn't have the brain drive, the serotonin levels that are kicking off that hit you with fast food, all that fat content and the sugars, and your brain gets excited to the point where now we're not doing it. And I said to her last night after the show, I go, can we please go get some fast food? She said no. So I got denied again last night. I had to go home and make a plate of nachos. But isn't that weird? Now, is that something that you have heard before about colostrum? I don't know if this will affect other people the same way.
I don't think it's just about colostrum. I think it's about you're taking things that's good for you. Okay, so a lot of these supplements is like superfood. So now your body's recognizing superfood, and the cravings for junk, goes away. And so you start craving real stuff. You're going to find yourself actually wanting vegetables, and you'd be like, what the heck? I'm a cheeseburger eater. What,
right,
vegetable?
Right.
But your body says, and I think I've said this many times, Doritos, you can eat a bag of Doritos. And if you ever notice in the old days, we'd eat a bag of nacho cheese Doritos, and we loved them. And we'd eat a bag, and the next thing you know, you're like, I'm still hungry.
Yeah, I still do that.
Full.
Yeah, I still.
The reason is it's because it's not registering in your brain and in your gut as food. It is a substance, so it's not food. So your body's saying, are you ever going to feed me? When you're doing supplements, when you're doing and changing your GI tract, it says, hey, I want food. And so all of a sudden, you're not going to crave the garbage that you've craved before. Now, I did a special before I retired, and I did a thing on burgers. And I have to say, In-N-Out is probably closest to the natural. I don't work for In-N-Outs, but In-N-Out is probably one of the most natural burgers you can eat on fast food. And the rest of the stuff is scary, and I'll leave it at that.
Right. Yeah, no question about it. And I love In-N-Out. Hey, In-N-Out tonight. Can I at least have that?
She's already going to deny you.
Yeah, can I at least have that? Because you can go to In-N-Out. This is one of the things. You can custom order anything on that menu, right? You can custom order. They will do whatever you want.
4x4.
You can get, check this out. One of the best things that you could ever eat in your life is a protein style triple. Now, protein style is no bun.
Yep.
It's lettuce is your bun, right? Top and bottom.
Yep.
And then you order the patties medium rare with chopped chilies. And check this out, man. You bite into that. You bite into a triple protein style with chopped chilies, and the little baby Jesus will come down and kiss you on the forehead.
Oh my gosh.
I've had it happen. I've had the baby Jesus show up in my car and give me a little peck on the cheek, a little peck like your sister would give you, just a little kiss.
You've done well, son.
Yes, it's that good, man. But okay, so this thing that I never thought would have happened in my life. I've never been obese. I've gotten up to 200, 205 pounds, and I don't have a lot of muscle, so that is, it's an unhealthy thing for me to be that big. I've come down a little bit in weight, and I feel better. I'm sleeping better for sure, but there's this thing that has happened with me where the cravings of sugar and the cravings of, and you and I want the audience to know, Ronnie and I have not talked about this. Ronnie and I talk a lot, but this is new to him because I have noticed this change. And Rita brought it to my attention, and it was something that we would do every night. Was we'd leave the bunker, we'd shut everything down, and take off and look for the next 24-hour fast food joint and get a bag full of food and get home and plow through it. We haven't done it. Oh man, we haven't done it since it's been probably 6 weeks. Rita, text me really quick and let me know the last time that we actually drove through a fast food restaurant. And
plus, just so you know, Jimmy, when you're eating really late, that's a big taboo. That's a big no-no.
Well, it is, except the difference is you have to remember that I work the night shift.
I know you do.
Yeah, so
I know you do.
My dinner time is 11 o'clock at night,
Right.
And now earlier today, this is what I was going to share with you. This is the proof that the four horsemen are marching and are close by. Because today I was over at the house and I'm poking through the refrigerator and then open up the refrigerator, and sitting in front of me is a whole uncut cantaloupe. And my heart started racing. I pulled that sucker out. I chopped it in half, scooped the seeds out, and stood in the kitchen with a spoon and didn't cut it up. I just ate this thing standing. I didn't even move. I ate a half a cantaloupe like it was standing still. And I sat back and I put the shell of the cantaloupe down on the countertop. I'm like, what did I just do? And I felt so good.
Yeah.
Man, it was so good. When I was a kid, Ronnie, I've told this story a few times. Oh, John Murphy just said Wendy's. We don't have a Wendy's. There's only like one in the valley. Can you believe that? There's only one Wendy's. I don't know. That's it.
They're interesting.
Yeah. I grew up. Wendy's was like that was the special treat. You had McDonald's, you had, you had Burger King, but if you were really going to go downtown, you went Wendy's, right? and there's no Wendy's around us.
Everybody's going to be all hungry after the show.
Yeah,
eat tonight.
And I talk about it enough. There's no Dairy Queens around here either. But anyway, so I was like 21 years old, and I didn't eat during the day, and I had that low blood sugar, no food headache, the one that is just insane, right? And I get home from work, it's about 5 o'clock, and I went and opened up the refrigerator, and I needed to eat. And in the refrigerator was a whole cantaloupe. It was my roommate's, and I didn't care. So I took it out, and I cut it up, and sat there, put it in a big bowl, and I ate the entire cantaloupe. But what I realized then, after probably about a third of the way through the cantaloupe, I felt the pain go out of my body, right? The headache in, that low blood sugar, no food, I'm starving to death headache, which will, it'll kill you, that headache. And it was one of the most glorious revelations that I've ever had in my life about what cantaloupe. And I don't know if it's the sugar in cantaloupe. I don't know if there's something else that's involved. I don't know about the vitamins. But it was like magic, right? And what it did for me. And I've never forgotten that. Cantaloupe now today, when I eat it, it's like filet mignon. It is just one of the tastiest things that I can ever eat.
It is good. It is good, especially if you get a nice ripe one that's juicy. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah. Now, before I let you go, Ronnie, where can everybody go, and what are the specials that you've got running now on your page?
Well, this is kind of the cool thing. Getthetea.com. That's obviously the website. And you go to specials. You can scroll down on the front page, or you can just go to the specials page. But the Allison we were talking about, you can get 2 bottles, okay? And you can save $10 on 2 bottles. But the big special right now is our tea, our fascinating tea. It's our number one product, and it's mind blower, and it does so many things, gets rid of heavy metals. It just does lots of stuff. It's a gentle detox. we have right now, when you buy 3, you get another month's supply for free, plus free shipping. And everybody gets free shipping with you, Jimmy. So that's kind of cool. All they do is put Jimmy in the code and boom, free shipping no matter what you buy. And then as a normal, it's just free shipping on any order over $100. So there's that going on. I like the pine bark, that we call it bark and tea, which is kind of fun. But it's pine bark, and then it's 2 teas, and there's a special on that. So go to the special page if you're looking to save money. And you can get healthy and save money. But the 4 months of tea, man, that's a home run. And that is only lasting till the end of the month. It might scoot a little over September, but it's almost to the end of the month, so you're going to want to jump on that one.
Now, I just noticed on the specials page, this is what got me started with getthetea.com, everybody. If you want to feel the magic that I did, he's got colostrum LD powder and the tea, a combo package on the specials page too as well. That's 20% off right there, and you'll get free shipping too as well. But that colostrum tea package, and it's the colostrum powder, and everybody get vanilla. Don't fart around, don't mess around, get the vanilla. I've never tried anything else, so when you hear me talk about the addiction that I have, it's the vanilla. I don't know about the other stuff. I can only vouch for the vanilla, and I have plowed through this now for the last, how long, Ronnie? Probably 3-4 months.
2-3 months, 2-3 months, and your tummy's doing better.
Oh man,
I'm going to tip off some of your listeners and yourself even. I've got something really cool brewing in the colostrum realm, and I've got something that's not even on the market coming your way, and it's going to be like hitting a ball out of the ballpark.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm telling you, it's going to be wonderful. Jimmy, you'll be one of the first people to try it out and tell me what you think. But it is a beautiful thing, and you're going to get healthy, and it's going to be an awesome deal.
Man, Ronnie, you've got one of the best companies in the world, and I brag about you all the time, and it's so cool when I'm out at these events and these conferences, and I have people come up to me and tell me about how, Get the Tea has changed them, and thank you. And the photographs that I get from the FADERNIGHTs out there with their Get the Tea sitting out next to a Fade to Black T-shirt, awesome. And it just makes me feel great. And
hey, wait a second, a Fade to Black T-shirt?
Okay, Ronnie, what's your size?
I'm saying
I don't know.
You have not taken care of me.
Have
I want this to go on air right now.
Yeah.
I've been with you for so long, and you haven't given me one of your T-shirts, and I'm sitting here. Goodbye. No.
By you saying that is.
Do you think he needs to be giving me a T-shirt? I need people to tweet, and I need people to tell Jimmy they need to be giving me a T-shirt. I'm thinking so.
Ronnie, I'm gonna blame Rita for this, because I am shocked that you don't have
a T-shirt. I love T-shirts.
I didn't know. T-shirts. I thought you had the whole package.
One of my favorite hosts, and I don't have a T-shirt. I am crushed. This is a crushing event. This is called the crush. This is the crushed episode.
I thought you had the whole package. All right, Ronnie. Now listen, send us as soon as you get your T-shirts and stuff and the hats. Send us some pictures, will you?
Absolutely, I'll do pictures. Yeah, but I'm kind of crushed. So you can make it back. We can probably put this thing together again. But
okay,
I tell you, wow.
100 tweets just went by. Thanks, pal. Ronnie McMullen, getthetea.com. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for all that you do. And again, you are very special. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Ronnie McMullen, getthetea.com. Go now. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go to getthetea.com. Use the promo code Jimmy. Do it now. I'll be right back. Opening up the phone lines, everybody, right now.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from Numana. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency or an outdoor sports enthusiast, Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from Numana. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Yeah, it is Thursday. It is Fader Night. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Phone lines are now open. Thank you to Ronnie McMullen and also Jon Rappoport. Man, I could sit and talk to Ronnie all night long. Ronnie is the absolute best. Just go to getthetea.com. All right, let's do this. Let's kick off Thursday night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. It's Destiny.
Hi, Destiny. How are you tonight? First out of the gate. What's going on?
I know you. First of all, I'm doing great. And hi, Rita and Faders and Ronnie and John. Y'all are great. And first of all, Jimmy, could you say vanilla for me?
Vanilla.
Vanilla?
Vanilla.
Like vanilla.
V-A-N-I-L-L-A. Vanilla. Like vanilla wafers. Right. Yes. Why? What am I saying wrong?
Well, you know, here in the South we call it vanilla.
Oh, yes. Of course you do.
I got the biggest kick out of you said that. I never heard it pronounced that way. That was so cool.
Yeah. Well, you know, I love going to the South and trying to figure out what language you guys are speaking. So, you know.
I know. And let me tell you, from the time my daughter was small and started talking, and of course, me and my husband are from the South, but everybody's like, why does she have a northern accent?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. The United States, you know exactly where you are when you travel. You just do. You know exactly where you are.
It's very bizarre. Like for both, she says both.
Yeah, well,
we don't know where it comes from, but like you said, it's a mystery. But anyway, I want to say I'm very interested in the Allison Sea.
Yeah.
And I am going to get some because a year ago, I ended up in the emergency room at the risk of a stroke or heart attack. And while I was there, I had high cholesterol. I found out I was diabetic. But it took me 6 months for it all to sink in and for me to get serious.
Yep.
Of course, they had me on all kinds of meds, and I still am. But I go back September the 13th to check all that, and I feel like I'm not diabetic anymore. I don't have those. But I started eating healthy. And like you said, with the fruits, wow.
Yeah.
And
I'm fully into that.
And I'm like a mango. I discovered mangoes this summer, and I'm like a mango addict.
Yeah,
Gotta have my mangoes.
I love mangoes too. Yeah.
Yeah, and watermelon.
Yep. You know what we got? And thank you for the call, Destiny. We got watermelon water.
I know.
Yeah, we got watermelon water a couple of weeks ago, and man,
I love it.
It's expensive, but it's really good.
I know.
It's really good, and so
it is, and it's so worth it to me because they told me I could only have red meat once a week, and some weeks I don't even have that. It's like chicken or fish, and vegetables and fruit. And in a year, I've been able to lose almost 40 pounds.
There you go.
And I can walk without it hurting. And it has been an amazing experience.
Hey, Destiny.
Yeah.
Thank you for the phone call. And go get yourself.
Very, very welcome.
Go get yourself some Allison C. That's Destiny.
I am going to.
Thank you so much, Destiny, and have a great night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi there, Jimmy. It's Carl from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Hi, Carl. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. Got the family with me. I got the phone lines lit up. What more can somebody ask for? Somebody pinch me. What's on your mind tonight, Carl?
I just wanted to get your take on why we didn't look at Beta Centauri or our closest star for a planet in the first place.
Yeah, right? I mean, you would think you would start, because that's what we could see first, right? You would think that the closest star to us, to our solar system, that would be the first thing that we would check, right? So do I have an answer for that? I'm as perplexed as you. We find, 2,000 habitable planets way out there. And then they come with this bombshell that, 4 light years away, the closest star to us has got a really cool planet in the Goldilocks zone, and it's right here. Yeah, it's like, come on.
I know, it's ridiculous. I noticed it was the European Space Observatory that found it and not Americans. I'm just wondering if they were trying to keep it on the low down.
Well, that obviously it smells of some kind of conspiracy, doesn't it? Number one. Number two, with the development of Kepler and when that entire mission was started and when Hubble was first launched out there, that the first thing as they're testing this equipment and focusing and testing software, what are you going to check first? Right? That's it.
You would check the closest star.
I would think. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm glad that they found it. It's exciting news. I don't know. I know that they've got ways of testing, with light and the light spectrum and for gases and the possibility of water and everything else. So that'll be next up on the block. But wouldn't it be exciting that they may find water on this planet, and, we got to check for oxygen and carbon and, hydrogen and all those other crazy gases out there. But wouldn't it be neat if this is the one, and the one that could be the best for us is the closest? So isn't that interesting?
I'm very excited about it, and I'm wondering if one of the races of aliens hasn't come from there.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. I also I would think that with this discovery that they would be pointing, SETI and all of the radio telescopes right at Proxima right now and see if there's anything coming from there. That's what I would do. If I'm Seth Shostak right now, I'm pointing everything I got, right? That's where I'm going.
You would think that after the announcement that the whole planet would be looking in that direction and listening and looking.
Yeah, it was also interesting how the mainstream media did grab onto this story and actually started talking about it in a legitimate sense right out of the gate, and that was also very cool. But I don't have an answer. Is there a conspiracy here? It just feels a little funky to me. Feels a little dirty that the closest star to us is the last one that we find out about, So there you go. Thank you so much, Carl, and be safe out there.
I will, and you too.
Thank you so much. Great question, and I wondered the same thing myself. Now, check this out. A top 20 list was released today, and I've got to, I'm going to thank Renee for this, number one. But number two, just listen to this list. An English nuclear power plant currently in construction could exceed $35 billion to build. The Large Hadron Collider cost $6 billion to build. An Australian LNG plant is raking in a $54 billion bill to build it. But the winner of the most expensive thing ever built to date is the ISS, the International Space Station. It's clocking in right now at $110 billion to build. So that makes it the most expensive object ever built by humans, $110 billion. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Is this John Polk, the good Reverend?
This is Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, John. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I wanted to bring up the fact that MUON is having a symposium on Disney property starting tomorrow.
Yes, that's right.
And,
yep.
And I'm actually going because I live and work in the Disney area, so it's probably 25, 30 minutes from my house.
Well, go and say hi to everybody for us. We couldn't make it out there this year for a couple of reasons. One, I'm on coast this weekend, and we're also doing the taping of our show. So that just stopped us from going out there. But do say hi to everybody. I'm sure you'll see Chase. I don't know if Race is going to be running around, but Chase is certainly going to be there. I'm sure I think Ben Moss and Tony Angiola are both speakers there. So do go up to everybody and say hi to them.
I will. There's going to be Robert Hastings, Alejandro Rojas, Ben Moss, Tony Angiola, Bill Schroeder, Cheryl Costa, Denise Stoner's going to be doing some experiencer workshops, David Mahler, Erling Strand, John Greenwald, and I happened to hear the show that you did with him, I think maybe a couple months ago.
Yep.
Kathleen Martin.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that show. It was a good one. Kathleen Martin, Paula Harris, Peter Robbins is the MC, Rich Hoffman, Richard Thyme, and Robert Powell. So I'm excited.
Peter Robbins is the MC and not John Greenwald? I think Greenwald, he's always the MC every year.
This year it's going to be Peter, and one thing about that is that he has been the MC at, remember Audrey Hewins, how we did the show back on January 27th about the blue beams,
right?
And from what I remember, you said that Peter was the first one to tell you about these Pleiadians showing up at a UFO conference.
I think it was you. I think it was you.
No, I never told you that. Oh. I found out from you on the show that night.
Oh, I remember Audrey. Maybe it was Peter. That was 250 shows ago, John. You know.
I know.
But I remember the evening, and it was was it? I know Audrey. I think Audrey called in. I can't remember, but That
she did. She called into the show, but Peter had been the MC for the first 4 Experiencer Speaks. And this year, Richard Dolan is going to actually be there, and it's on the same weekend. So Audrey's conference and the MUFON Symposium are on the same weekend, which starts tomorrow.
Well, there you go. Well, go have a good time. And, the International UFO Symposium is one of the great events of the year. And what's really cool for me about the MUFON experience is it's a collection of the MUFON people. So that's who gets together for that conference. They invite non-members of MUFON, but it is you're talking about 300 or 400 hardcore UFO researchers and investigators all together at the same time. It's a pretty serious conference, and everybody's all serious and scientific. And last year I tried to loosen it up a little bit and throw a little Jimmy into the mix, and I think I kind of freaked everybody out, but it was in that everybody's all serious, and I tried to get everybody to laugh, and eventually. Just lost. Wow, that's bizarre. And that happened last night. I lost my audio last night for a second. And I just lost it right now for a second. That wasn't you. It wasn't the system. It wasn't the feed. It's weird. There's a bug somewhere in the cables in here. I'm going to have to go through the system this weekend. But anyway, I think they all loosened up a little bit and just realized that sometimes a little lightening of the seriousness is a good thing, and it was a good conference. Great time last year.
And I think something that cannot go unmentioned is that this is being done at a Hilton on Disney property. Now, Disney does not need extra money. So the fact that they would even allow a UFO alien conference to be conducted on their property, I think that speaks volumes.
Well, it does, but always remember that Disney, Walt himself, was really into the UFO subject and research, and they did in the early 70s, and you can go watch this video right now. You can go look.
Oh, I've seen them.
I've seen them. Go look.
Yeah, Werner von Braun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell the audience right now. Just search Walt Disney UFO documentary, and it'll pop up right there. And it's one of the better UFO documentaries, and it was done by Disney, and it was done. I'm going to guess here, and I'm going to say 1974, 73. So it was done 40 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. I've seen the videos, and he explained it so perfectly. Werner von Braun, what a complete and total genius. But he explained it in terminology that people could understand.
Yeah.
And, fascinating videos. If people haven't seen it, YouTube it or Google it. It's definitely worth watching.
There is, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I think it's Rod Serling is the narrator of it. If my memory serves me correct, again, don't depend on my brain. That's worthless. But I think Rod Serling did it. Hey, John, thank you for the heads up, my brother, and go have fun this weekend. And like I said, tell all of our friends hello for us.
All right, real quick, Tony Iommi. Talk to you later, Jimmy.
I'll talk to you, man. Well played. John Polk dropping the Tony Iommi shout out. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
I haven't listened to the whole show, but I'm interested in the component of how the direction of the federal bank was controlled by Initiative 11110, which was redirecting how the silver deposits were allowed to be processed, which shit-canned millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Right. No bad language on the show. But go ahead, continue.
I'm sorry. how that was not recognized on many multitudes of media. The other thing that I find confusing is when I look up on the internet, I look up things and there's things in black and white and there's things in color, and the black and white, which I get from Russia, the black and white that I get from France, the black and white that I get from Germany, are diametrically opposed to anything now being processed. And when Kennedy was shot, I was in elementary school in Portland, Oregon, and I remember very, very vividly the black Cadillac or Continental, whatever, driving across, and there were only 4 people in it. And I now look at things that are now being processed in color, and there are 6 people. So how can that be accepted, except that, nothing that we can look at in any way, shape, or form with the media now is accurate. So I find various things about the whole thing is confusing. And does that make sense?
Well, it certainly does. But I want to go back to your first comment about the Federal Reserve and the federal bank. The question that you brought up was the change from the silver standard. Obviously, the gold standard was wiped out back in 1933, I think 33, 32, 33. And that's when that changed. And
no. The gold standard was changed in 1962.
No, that was
silver.
No. Actually, you're confused a little bit here. Let me explain a couple of things. But I want to get back to the reason why you're asking the questions. Back in 1932, 1933, we used to have gold dollars and $20 gold pieces, and the last one that we made was in 1932 and 33, and that was the St. Gaudens $20 gold piece, and then that's when that stopped being used as currency, and so the Federal Reserve went back and started buying and taking all of the gold from different countries around the world and said, "Look, we'll hold your gold at Fort Knox for you, and we'll keep." Okay.
You're absolutely correct.
But let me finish. Let me finish where I'm going with this. So the gold standard was backed off of. It used to be that. Silver certificates were issued. They looked like dollar bills, but they were actually silver. They looked like dollar bills, and they said on it, right on the bill itself, that you could take this to any bank and get $1 worth of silver, right? And so the silver standard was there up until 1964. 1964, the Federal Reserve then stopped that. And that was right after the Kennedy assassination. I don't know if it's tied in together or not, but it is interesting that in 1964 was the last year that you could get silver money. In other words, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars were all minted in 90% silver. Not fully 100%, but it was 90% silver. And then in 1965, we started the clad currency system. So all of the dimes, nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars were now made out of worthless metal. Okay, it was just clad. It's made out of nickel and copper, and it's basically worthless. Just like the dollar bills are. Dollar bills now are a legal tender note. All that means is you can use it to go and buy something, but can you exchange it for precious metals? No, you cannot. It is just a promissory note That's all it is. The ability for the Federal Reserve to go and pull that off and take everything of value away from money, and that includes the hard change that was in your pocket. The hard change in your pocket could have been gold at one point. It could have been silver at one point, and so there was an actual value to it, right? That all has been gone since, absolutely since 1964. Prior to that was 1933, when the gold standard was stripped away, and we had no more currency that was actual gold. Now, the ability for the Federal Reserve to make this determination as a privately run bank in our system today has always been foul. It doesn't feel right, and it has never felt right to me. I always thought growing up that that money had something to back it up. Now there isn't. There's nothing to back it up. Nothing but faith. No difference. And I didn't get your name, but I'll get that in a second. No difference than a religion. A religion is based on faith. It is, a religion is saying, look, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't do this, you can't do that, but it's there. Just have faith. And it's the same thing with the monetary system today. And for them to go, and this is where the problem starts and ends very succinctly. And I need to be very clear here. The money that is printed today is there to pay off the interest of debt. That's the only reason why they print money. And that's it. Your taxes that you pay every single week out of your paycheck go to pay the interest on the loan that the Federal Reserve is doing with us. And that is the cycle. So how is that?
I wholeheartedly kind of disagree because
you can't. You can't disagree.
Wait. Can you just? Whoa! Stop. Okay.
Okay.
The executive order 11110 as of June 1963. Okay, my family had a significant, and I will say significant, amount of silver. And what they did was, my family was in the railroad business, and we had a significant amount of silver. And as of order 11110 in June of 1963, absolutely, basically put us in a situation that was, in one day, took us from millionaires to the mid-class, okay? So there was a problem with...
Okay, well, listen, I got to hit... Hold on. I've got to take a commercial break right here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep you on hold, and I'll allow you to finish that thought right after this break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fadernaughts. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night, Thursday night. Open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. All right, let's continue the conversation there. What's your name?
My name is Harvey.
Harvey?
RB.
RB. I'm sorry.
B as in Bozo.
It's okay. All right, RB. So we were talking about Executive Order 11110 that Kennedy had signed, I believe, in 61, 62, 63, something.
It was, his goal was to essentially remove the 1% and alleviate some of the financial things, and it is. I understand we're talking about conspiracy. Wait a minute, my cat just stepped on my radio. But anyway, you're talking about conspiracy theories, and this is one of the lesser conspiracy theories, and from what I have done, I've done research, and I find it interesting in that very, 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 very few people look at the financial side of Kennedy's demise. And I'm thinking that that's wrong. They have to look at the financial side of Kennedy's demise. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm trying to follow you, but this is my memory because I was a big coin collector. Okay, so I studied all of this as a kid and was fascinated with all of the silver money out there. This is what my memory says here, and I know that Jim Mars had commented on this program, on this very program in the past, but my memory says this: that silver back then as an industrial product was getting more and more and more valuable, so that it wasn't 10 cents of silver that you were holding in your pocket anymore. It was 20 cents. And it wasn't a 25-cent, quarter. It was worth 50 cents, and it was becoming more and more valuable. So they had to take.
I have to interject in this, and that had nothing to do with the value of silver. That had to do with the mint system, because you had to mint a coin that was to government specifics. And the government specifics required certain amounts of silver at the time. And if you go back and look into investment silver, they will actually tell you the actual dates to try and find because of silver content. And that's pre-Kennedy. And the problem with this whole thing is that the people who were investing in silver at the time were trying to devalue gold. And if you devalue gold, you make the whole financial value of the American economy more valuable. And there's where the financial issue with the assassination of Kennedy is significant. And I think that, that is a significant component. And I don't know the right answer. I don't know the whole big thing, but think about it.
Well, you see, this is the thing, Arby, that when it comes to the reasons why Kennedy would have been assassinated, it gets so complex because anybody could have had a reason to pull the trigger on Kennedy. He had so many different things going on. He had his issues with the mafia. He had the issues with the situation with the nuclear things that were going down with Russia at the same time. He had Cuba in his back door. He had the UFO situation. He had the fact that he was Catholic. He had things coming at him from so many different directions. Then you have this Federal Reserve question that comes into play too. So it gets to be very, very complex, and the reasons for it, I don't know. I do know this, that there were so many players that were looking at Kennedy in a negative way that any one of them could have done it. This executive order 1110.
Let me present a question to you. Okay?
Okay.
You have all of these various things, Marilyn Monroe and all of her, crap. You have all of these other things. Money talks. I won't say the rest. And, you know, you have Johnson and his corruptness. Because everybody knows he's a corrupt.
RB, listen, really quick. You said you had a question, though. What's the question?
Okay. You look at all the various things. You have all of its various components and things. And what is the driving force for his assassination? It's money.
Possible.
It's money.
Possible?
No, it's money.
It's possible. It's possible. You know, I have no idea. We have the more time that goes by, RB, between November of '63 and today, the more time that goes by, more questions than answers are here. You know, because we're finding more and more out about history. I have no idea. Could it be money? It could be. Could it be the New World Order? Could be.
Here's my thing. I actually watched the assassination on TV in Portland, Oregon, when I was a kid. And now I watch the same assassination in color. And there is no accuracy in that. I mean, what I watched in Portland, Oregon, there were 4 people in the car, and there were 2 Secret Service agents at the front of the car, and there were 4 Secret Service at the entrance, at the back of the car. And now what I watch on, you know, representations of the same thing, and it's all in color, and there's 6 people in the car. It's stupid. Nothing that we are being presented by the media is accurate, and I'm pissed off. I'm truly pissed off because I was there, actually, in my schoolroom when I was 14 years old, and I look at what I saw, and I look at it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you on how our memories of what we remember and what we have been taught and what we see today seem to be 2 different things. And RB, I want to thank you for the phone call and thank you for hanging through that commercial break. All right, and don't be a stranger.
Well, I've listened to your program for a long time, but I find it confusing that nobody gets it.
That's why you listen to this show right there. And thank you so much, RB. And again, don't be a stranger. And I think we have a new Fade or Not in the family. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Oh, I'm not new. This is Kat from Louisiana.
What are you doing, girl?
Oh, my goodness. I'm trying to stay dry.
Oh, man. How close are you to the flooding that's going on out there?
Oh, well, we're up in the north. We're straight east from Dallas, about 18 miles from the Texas line. So that happened down south in Denham Springs, not too far. But we're getting it. I mean, and they're getting everything we're getting. And today was the absolute worst lightning thunderstorm. I got stuck at work for an hour, and it scared me, and it was horrible, and it was flash flooding everywhere. I almost couldn't get home. I'm tired of it. See, you have to ask yourself a question right now, and I'm not the most religious guy, right?
But it's at this point after the last, going back to Katrina, to this point today. Are you guys asking yourself, what did we do, man? What is it that we did to deserve all of this?
Today, ask what somebody's cursed Louisiana. I have no idea.
I know, right?
We're in some kind of vortex that just doesn't want me to mow my yard for the next 3 months, and it's up to my knees. I can't take it.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
But we are lucky that we didn't get, I feel really bad about the people down there, and it's just, we've got drives and people, charity, just trucks coming and going, and people helping each other out, and it just breaks your heart.
It
happened.
Kat, I was thinking about this, and I'm not trying to make fun. I'm actually being serious in this thought, and I know it sounds crazy, but you know what we should do as a country? I think everybody in the United States should get their pickup truck that they own, fill it full of dirt, and drive to Louisiana and just dump it off. And let's raise Louisiana by about 20, 30 feet. What do you say? Is that a bad idea?
Do. Oh, bring in some of the cooler air too from somewhere.
But you know what I'm
like
saying?
Opening up an oven in the middle of the desert while you're sitting in a sauna. I'm moving. I can't take it.
Yeah, if everybody just got a truck full of rocks, a truck full of dirt, we got, 50 million truckloads of dirt and rocks. We could raise this sucker up, and we don't have to go through this anymore. I'm being serious too. I'm not being Mr. Funny Guy. There's got to be a way to prevent this. I know. I've been to New Orleans, a few times. Love the town. It's a great town, freaky town. I've had some really, really cool, dark experiences there. I went to the edge of the cliff and took a peek, man. New Orleans is no joke. So anyway.
Oh, man.
Right? But when you're there, you can tell that you are below everything. Right? You can just tell. It's humid, it's dank, it's weird, everything is moist, it never dries out. It just never it doesn't dry. Everything is wet. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we have coffins that
float
up and that float, and they need to at least put identification plaques on them so when they go by, they know, because they have no idea who these people are. There's no way to identify them.
Right.
You just have to hope that, do something. But anyway, I know this is off topic, so I just wanted to say we are alive.
Yeah. Really quick before I let you go, how's the band doing?
Oh, we got a bass player that came in, and I haven't seen anything like it, so it was worth the wait. Arpeggios up and down, no pick. It's going to be rocking.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
but there was 4 people in the JFK car that I saw. Just so you know.
Thank you so much, Kat, for checking in with us, and you know that we love you.
Love the FADERNIGHT. Love you. Love Rita. And y'all take care. I'm trying to send some of this rain y'all's way, but
yeah, absolutely. We're in the middle of a drought, so send some. Thank you so much, Kat. I think we lost Kat. I think she floated away. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Well, good evening, Jimmy.
Good evening.
RJ Cole. Calling you from the Arctic.
You know what's funny, RJ? When you call in, you could you'll always be the first, but you could almost be the last caller. You never know with this show, right? So you need to constantly check in, so you'll be able to say, I was the first and last, man. How are you, Randy?
I was Jimmy's first and last. Oh, I'm doing good.
What's cracking tonight?
Well, I was just listening to the conversation, and you asked the question about how many people were in the car a couple nights ago. I guess last night, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, and, this guy that just called, well, I got to tell you that the assassination was not broadcast on live TV. It might have been in Dallas, but not national. It was not. If you recall, Walter Cronkite did the breaking news thing and made the announcement, but it was not filmed, or I'm sorry, not on live television.
So what about Dallas? Did Dallas have it on live TV? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It may have, but if it did, the actual assassination was not, I'm sure, filmed by them. I don't think they would have had a camera truck anywhere near there, but possibly set up for where he was to be giving the speech and stuff like that. But I don't think along the route you would have seen live coverage, and I don't remember ever seeing it. I was alive when it happened.
What do you think about the divide that is out there with everybody remembering 4 and remembering 6? Because I remember 4, and you probably remember the show that we did last month when this came up with a caller, and I was cocky. I was like, no, there was 4. It was Jackie, John Connolly in the front seat, and he was sitting next to the driver. And when I got corrected on that, and when I went and looked, and I'm looking at I was like, man, how? I was positive. I would have gone to Vegas and laid down $100,000 on 4 people. And that's
I guarantee it was 6. The 2 Secret Service guys in the front, Conley and his wife, were in the jump seats.
Right.
The X100, which is what the car was referred to.
Right.
I actually have a model of that car sitting at home because I have I don't know what it is, but I really am driven to, about the assassinations in this country and stuff. I actually have met 4 people. I don't know if I told you this before. Have met 4 people that were directly involved in assassinations in this country, or attempts.
Really?
And it was all by accident, and I lined up 4 of them over a period of time, and it still blows me away. But when I was a police officer in Bothell, I was in charge of crime prevention, and I went to give a block watch talk at a guy's house who was setting up, a block watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was very interesting. He says, I'm a retired FBI. I said, really? So we got to talk, and he brings out his book, lays it out on the table, and he was a former customs agent who transferred to the FBI. His first job after he got done with training for the FBI and the academy was he was put in charge of the evidence lockers for the Kennedy assassination. And he actually checked out the evidence to Gerald Ford, who was on the Warren Commission.
Right.
And, of course, I asked him, I said, well, what are your thoughts about that? And he says, one shooter. And he says, I swear to it, it was one shooter. Later on, he also did the ballistics on Martin Luther King's assassination. So, it was just amazing talking.
Yeah, what are the odds? What are the odds of that happening in your life? That's pretty trippy.
Well, it gets better.
It gets better. Okay.
Thing that happened. I was also a DARE officer for the city of Bothell, and I went to St. Louis for the DARE conference. Keynote speaker, former football player, you probably have heard of him, Rosie Greer.
Oh, yeah.
And Rosie was walking across the Civic Center with a blonde on each arm, and I walked up to him and I said, sir, I don't remember much about your football career, but what I do remember is you tackled Sirhan and broke his finger.
Yeah, most people don't. That's the thing about Rosie, because he was a cool dude, and he was a funny dude, and we always think about Crochet, right, with Rosie Greer, and but he was a very, very, very humble guy, big dude too, big guy, but he was on the security detail for Robert Kennedy, and that
Robert didn't want anything to do with the Secret Service.
Right.
He wanted to be the people's candidate. He wanted to be protected by the people's heroes, basically.
Right here at the Ambassador Hotel, man, in the kitchen, correct. Rosie Greer did the tackle on Sirhan, and that's a crazy, because he was such a cool guy, such an open guy, funny guy, did all the game shows, and here in the United States, if you went through that period of the 60s, then you certainly knew, a few different people. You knew about you saw Rosie Greer on television all the time. There was the Dick Van Dyke Show or the Flintstones or whatever you remember about it. But Rosie Greer was part of Americana and pop culture throughout the 60s, but we only know that one side of him. Most people don't remember that he was right there and saw, Bobby Kennedy not only shot, but, and tackled the assassin. That's a crazy thing about Rosie. So anyway, let me ask you before I have to let you go. Do you still subscribe to the the lone gunman theory in the Kennedy assassination?
I think, in my opinion, there was a conspiracy, but whether there was more than one shooter, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how I feel that day. It depends upon what documentary I watch.
Yeah.
If you watch the headshot, as graphic as it is, and you got to wonder, how did that come from the back?
Yeah, because it didn't. The thing is that the puff of smoke out of the back of Kennedy's head, right? Yeah. And the front of his head comes apart, that blood spray that you see in the film, I watched it like 20 times over the last 2 days, by the way. Yeah. Went back and looked at it again. That blood spray goes straight up. It looks that it comes from the front. That shot, it does not come from behind. And God, it's so morose to go back and look at that. And I did it like 20 times, and I was doing it.
Kind of guilty for doing it. But.
Yeah, and I was looking at some other weird things too as well in that video or in the film. There's just some things. I think that the Zapruder film has been edited. It just jumps around too much, and things are in focus and out of focus, and the people in the film that are standing in the grass as the car goes by, they look too big compared to Kennedy and Jackie O and the driver. They look out of proportion. And I'm not saying anything strange here. I don't know, man. I just, when I look at it now, it just seems I don't know, man.
Well, before you let me go, let me just throw this out at you. Take the time tonight, since we're talking about assassinations, take a look at a black and white photo of Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Focus on his eyes. Take a look at Robert F. Kennedy. Focus on his eyes. Take a look at John F. Kennedy and focus on his eyes. And later on, tell me what you think, because I swear that people who are destined to make a mark in history like this have a certain look in their eyes. And I call it the Lincoln phase. Basically, it's just check out the eyes. There's something there. It's like they're destined to be killed in this manner that's going to be such a earth-shaking event that it's going to change history.
Man, Randy, I'm so glad you found us 3 years ago.
Me too.
So glad.
I don't get to listen to you very often, but when I do, I just love it. And I love the Fadernaughts. All you guys, appreciate you being out there. And Jimmy, you do such a good show. You're going to be top of the heap here very soon, I'm sure.
Well,
we already are. But,
you know what I would love for you to do, Randy, is next week on Thursday night on Fader Night, I want you to call in and let's go back to that first phone call when you called in and told us about your experience when you were on patrol that night. I don't want to give it away now to the audience, but why don't you call in next week and share that story with us again and relive it?
Sure, give it a shot.
All right.
If I'm not doing something incredible up here on the North Slope, I'll do that.
Thank you so much, Randy.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
the absolute best. That is R.J. Randy J. Cole, who was one of our very first callers 3 years ago on the show. And there you go, from the Great White North. Well, actually, I don't know if he's calling from Alaska today, but he's one of the best, man. Thank you so much, Randy. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fader Night, 323-825-5045. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Open lines all night long. I'll be right back.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com. mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm going to get me some fast food tonight. I'm going to force it down. I'm just going to see if I've been wrong. I'm going to test this thing tonight. I'm going to go hardcore. I think, if you go hardcore fast food, what is the wrongest of the wrong? I would say Big Mac, large order of fries, chocolate shake, wash it down with a McDonald's hot caramel sundae. I think that's the way to go. I don't know. Check this out. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to you in a second. An angry 1934 letter from Bonnie and Clyde is up to auction, right? Clyde Barrow, the Clyde of Bonnie and Clyde, by the way, wrote a letter to a defunct member of his gang. His name was Raymond Hamilton. It's being put up by RR Auctions, right? Clyde freed Hamilton from the Easton prison farm after killing a guard. They did a breakout, right? And Clyde got pissed because Hamilton managed to get arrested again, which made, all of the efforts of Clyde null and void. And Clyde was angry. And he also called him yellow for getting arrested again. And it's all in this letter. And he was also mad because old Raymond had hooked up with a prostitute who Bonnie and Clyde had thought was working for the man. And it turned out that she was a rat and got him arrested. Great stuff. Great letter. And it's up for auction, and you can go and put in your bids right now over at RR Auctions. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Josh.
Hey, Josh,
How
what's
you doing?
cracking? I'm doing good, man. What's up?
Great show.
Always. It's Thursday night. It's always great, right?
Yeah, always, man. since the beginning. I've been listening since the very beginning. 30 years almost, or so. I don't recall them, setting up television, doing a broadcast or anything like that.
Oh, you're talking about Kennedy? I don't know. I feel like I need to over the weekend give Jim Mars a call and just talk to him and clear up a couple of things. If it was broadcast live, he was there. Also, the question of this whole Executive Order 11110 and the Silver Standard. I know that he made comments about it in one of his books, and I had read it myself, and I think it was in Crossfire. I could be wrong, but I'll go back and ask Jim about that. But other than that, what's on your mind?
Just, on Dealey Plaza and stuff, there's just, right where the sign is at, there is like a water, drainage runoff,
Yes.
And they've said, that there's possibly a shooter that was there. That's for the
in the sewer. Yeah, right.
And I've been to Dealey Plaza, I don't know how many times, walking through there. And, look inside there, and they said that you couldn't get a rifle in there, but I believe you could. Just weird stuff that happens down there. There was a guy, about 10 years ago, on the day, the 22nd of November, at the same time that Kennedy was assassinated, they got an X marked out there where, Kennedy was assassinated. And this guy goes out there, and at the same time, day, 10 years ago, and commits suicide.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Erica Badu.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I would like to think that I have a grip, but I just, I know so many people that are researchers and have gotten into this so deeply, and I know less today than I ever did before. I know that I feel in my heart of hearts, Josh, that it wasn't one gunman. It just wasn't. I don't even know if Oswald even hit him. I don't know about that. Oswald may have been up there, and it may have been his rifle and stuff. But I don't know. Those shots came from the front. But listen.
I think he hired Hunt. I think he got a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Josh, and be safe and be well.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello, Jimmy. This is Archangel.
Hey, Ark. How are you, man?
I'm kind of in the dumps, man. After hearing you last night, I feel bad because, I'm the one that called about the JFK Mandela effect thing, and kind of, I don't know, it turned my world upside down, and I guess I kind of passed it on to you too.
Hey, it's quite all right, man, and I'm glad that you did, and it's better to question everything and never forget that, and that's what I've been telling everybody.
I do question everything, of course, because the way I was raised, and things that I've seen. So yeah, I just have this, and people have told me I had this gut feeling, and so I tend to go with it, and that's how I question things. And looking at that Zapruder film, my gut instinct tells me it's all wrong.
Yeah.
And then I go back a few days later, and I watch the JFK Oliver Stone movie, and what sticks out so much is the part where Kevin Costner's showing the film, and he's like back and to the left, back and to the left, back and to the left.
Right.
And it just didn't fit.
I should get Oliver on the show. I didn't even think about that. I can definitely I probably can pull that off, but I should get Oliver on the show and run this by him.
It shows 6 in there too, but I remember 4. I remember it being in black and white, and it just doesn't fit, man.
I don't know if he's tired of answering questions about that, but with this whole Mandela effect thing and the way that people are starting to question things again, and it seems to have been resurfacing, and it's all your fault. But I think I think we should.
I take the blame.
I think we should reach out to Oliver and get him on the show.
Yeah, that would be an interesting conversation. I would love to hear that, see what he has to say about that. And and what still bugs me though is usually the way technology trickles down, whoever has the most money, like big corporations, they got the first computer. Of course, it was about the size of a block, or a building. And then, I mean, you get what I'm saying, where I'm going with this. And what I don't understand is, like, at that point in time, everything that was televised was in black and white, and yet there's Zapruder films in color, and I don't see how. Granted, Zapruder, he had money. I think he owned a clothing store or something like that in downtown Dallas or something along those lines. And I don't see how he would have a color video camera or a color camera before any of the news stations would. And I looked and I saw the Walter Cronkite that the previous caller mentioned, and I watched that, and he showed a picture, and same thing, 6 people in the car. It was a side view of the car, and it's in black and white. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, how is national TV in black and white, and yet this home video is in color?
Well, let me help you out with that. That's not that big of a conspiracy. He shot that on 8mm color film, and everybody, I'm telling you right now, just like digital cameras are on telephones today. Back then, the coolest thing for your dad to have at home was an 8mm film camera. They were small. Some were battery powered. Most of them you could wind up, and you just pulled the trigger and shot all of your family's home movies. And it was shot in color. There you could shoot in black and white too, but color film was readily available and not expensive. Color television, color television, which I actually am old enough to remember. Color television didn't kick off until the mid to late 60s. And then all of the television programs were in black and white, and they slowly transitioned over to color. But live television in 63, all black and white, 100%. So it was 2 different technologies, right. Ark. Okay, you had 8mm film, home cameras all over the place. I'm surprised that there wasn't more film home movies that were shot that day of Kennedy, but Zapruder was in the right place at the right time. There was another film that was shot. It's not as famous. It was from further away. I can't remember. I want to say it was the Navy, or I can't remember the name of the family. It started with an N, I think. That was shot from the opposite angle. So Zapruder was up in the grass, shooting down. And then, but on the other side of that little patch of grass in the middle of Dealey Plaza, from the opposite angle was another film that was shot. And you can, it was confiscated, and getting copies of it, it's out there, and you can watch it, but you can see everything from the opposite direction. There you go.
What I read was that they only confiscated one, and that was a Zapruder film, and they actually paid him quite a bit of money for it.
Right. David just said 1969. What am I looking at here? He says 1969. I don't know if he's referring to television converting to color.
That's probably what it is. I was born in 74, and of course by that time, we had, Technovision, or not really. I don't think Technovision came out yet, but it was all color.
Okay, well, I'm gonna check right now. It's quick Wikipedia, man. I'll do this in real time. Was not until the mid 1960s. It says here the color transition started in 1965. That sounds about right. Let's see. And then it says through 1970. So there you go. I remember.
That's interesting because that brings up another question. And because Apollo 11, you saw some that were in color and some that were in black and white.
The color came out later, but I think as far as what I remember, because I saw that live on TV, it says 1972, the last holdout among daytime network programs converted to color. So there you go. So it went all the way through 1972, but the color transition started in 1965. I'm looking at it here. They had to get the standards written in bandwidth and all of the spectrums together for broadcast television.
Right.
So,
like the way they did with the digital conversion, about 10 years ago?
Well, I remember, yeah, totally. I remember personally, man, 1968, 69 in Chicago watching black and white cartoons, and some of them were in color, and I was watching the Flintstones and the Jetsons change from black and white to color. Gilligan's Island.
I bet you were in awe, like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah. It seemed like it was alive. I remember Gilligan's Island going from black and white to color. I remember all of that.
Right.
And I used to think at that age, I was like 5 years old, I used to think that people were living in the TV.
That's funny, but that's pretty.
No,
smart,
I did,
though.
man.
Cool.
I'll admit it. I used to trip. I used to think, man, so Gilligan is only 4 inches tall, and he's living in the TV.
Right.
So there you go. Thank you, Ark, and thank you for causing all the trouble, man. And don't go changing. All right.
All right, have a good one, Jimmy.
Man,
thanks for everything, man. I mean, you put on a great show, and thanks to Coast, I found you guys and been listening to you ever since.
Oh, that's right. I'm on Coast tomorrow night and Saturday. So there you go. Tomorrow night, Randy Kramer.
The first 2 times I talked to you, you were on Coast to Coast. The whole Black Knight thing, I brought it up a couple of times.
You got to love it, man.
That still bugs me, man. I still want to know more about that thing.
And we will. We will. Thank you, Ark.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Archangel, everybody. He's the one that started all the trouble with this Kennedy assassination. Is it 2, 4, 6, or 8? And there you go. 323-825-5045. I've got time for, now that I cleared out all of the phone calls, I'll squeeze one more in if I can, and then we'll get less in here. In an attempt to cut down on a number of road accidents involving cattle, police in central India have decided to attach glow-in-the-dark horns on stray cattle. That's right. Authorities in the state of Madhya have decided that sticking an orange radium reflective band on the horns of 300 stray cattle will make it easier for drivers to spot them at night. And it's actually happening. It's going down right now. Federal aviation authorities are about to drop the ban on commercial drone use, opening the door to private UAV operators across the United States. Getting approved and certified may still take a while, however, because of those drone pizza deliveries. Yeah, I'm kidding. After years of allowing commercial drone operations only under special dispensaries and federal strict laws, to the point where Amazon moved their delivery testing to Canada. The Federal Aviation Administration is rolling out new rules for commercial operators, from big companies to individual entrepreneurs. Aspiring drone operators still have to pass an aeronautical knowledge test at an FAA-approved knowledge testing center and pass a security background check for the TSA. And on that drone thing, Domino's, check this out. Right now, in New Zealand, it's raining pizzas. That's right. It's falling from the skies because they have just passed the technology-hungry chain's intentions to take pizza delivery from droned mainstream. Domino's today unveiled its aspirations with a demo, and they did it in Auckland, successfully completing an autonomous delivery of hot, tasty pizza. The pizza drones are constructed with the help of 3D printing, and they actually lower the pizzas from the air on a tether, and then you go out and you grab your hot pie. The company's international division teamed up with Nevada-based drone technology company Flierte to execute this feat and test, which they passed. The partner intends to roll out on-demand drone delivery to customers' homes in New Zealand later this year. The next step, according to Domino's, the United States. Drone delivery. I'm down. I'm so down. Just so down. Well, slowly melting permafrost is seeping ancient carbon into the atmosphere in what researchers describe as a slowly ticking climate change time bomb. The paper published in Nature Geoscience yesterday confirms that, and you have to go with me on this, that thawing permafrost is releasing gases which may have been trapped in ice for thousands of years as climate-warming greenhouse gases. But by subjecting gas capture from lakes in Alaska, Siberia, and Canada to radiocarbon dating, researchers from the University of Alaska Fairbanks found the gas has been generated from carbon stored up to, check this, 30,000 years ago. The team of scientists also used historical aerial photos analysis, soil and methane sampling to quantify the strength of the permafrost carbon feedback. Although the amount of gases may have been released from permafrost at the moment is pretty small, it's thought that over the next 90 years, the levels of gas could be from 100 to 900 times greater than present measurements. Trippy, huh? I guess it was bound to happen, which did go down in Russia, by the way. Check this out. A rare tornado. Oh, man, who posted this? Oh, that's cool. Gilligan's Island in black and white talking into coconuts. And that is... so if you're hungry, just shoot down a pizza drone. See, Maria, you've just given people bad ideas. Right? Can you imagine? You know, you got your binoculars out. Hey, dude, check it out. It's an Amazon food delivery drone. And take that baby out of the air. You know, it's going to happen. I wonder how they could prevent that. Anyway, a tornado touched down in, check this out, Syktyvkar, a provincial capital in northwest Russia, leaving this crazy path of destruction in its wake. I watched some video today. The twister tore off roofs of several buildings and fences and knocked down a bunch of trees and power lines and turned over a van and also damaged a crane at the local lumber mill. The disaster hit the Republic of Komi, located northwest of the Ural Mountains. And check this out. That is a rare thing. Look, we have tornadoes all the time here, daily. It's just what the United States is all about. But for this to happen in Russia, completely, it's a phenomena. This is rare. That must have absolutely freaked everybody out. But in my good news, and please save your email for later. Just listen to me. In my good news story of the day, the mayor of a German town fired a Muslim intern on her first day of work. Why? Because she refused to take off her headscarf, local media reported. Now, before you freak out, should this have gone down? I'm going to tell you right now before I tell you the rest of the story. Absolutely. Absolutely, it should have happened. Why? The 48-year-old woman had been hired for a project called the Perspectives for Refugees in the eastern town of Luckenwalde, Brandenburg, Germany, according to local newspapers. She was scheduled to work for 6 weeks. However, the woman's assignment with the town hall ended long before the scheduled date because she was in fact fired on her very first day of work after refusing to remove the headscarf when she was asked to. Now, she said she wouldn't do it because she was in the presence of men. Now, she was asked to remove the scarf by Mayor Elizabeth Herzog. Now, she asked her to remove it, and when she didn't, the mayor responded with saying, "Listen, we have religious neutrality in this town hall. That's it." and there are no exceptions. Now, there are some people in Germany right now that are freaking out about this, but the bottom line is very simple. You just can't bend the rules. That's it. If there's religious neutrality, that's it. And if you can't do it, then don't take the job. It's really that plain and simple. It's not that big of a deal. And there's plenty of other people in Germany that, could use the work, and there's probably somebody that wouldn't care about a headscarf. And that's just my opinion. Okay? Save your email. O-Search said its team of fishermen and scientists has found, and this is trippy, has found the first known birthing site for great white sharks ever on the North Atlantic coast. After this has never been done before. After 26 expeditions, O-Search said the birthing site in the famous waters of Montauk, Long Island, is the most significant discovery they've ever made. Never seen it. Never, and I remember hearing, we just don't know how they're born. Never seen it happen. Never, the great white shark is like the most mysterious thing ever. We don't know how long they live. We don't know anything about them. Well, here you go. They've located a birthing site. And there's more to this story, actually, but they have witnessed some crazy things there that they have never seen before when it comes to great white sharks, their moms, and how they act. It's pretty crazy. Now, in the stupidest story of the week, here it is. Starbucks. And let me drink some Starbucks right now. Starbucks has prevailed in one of the slew of current lawsuits arguing that it deceptively underfills its drinks. On Friday, a U.S. District Court rejected a California customer's claim that Starbucks purposefully puts too much ice in its drinks so it can misrepresent the amount of actual coffee. The dismissal still leaves the near identical lawsuit filed earlier in Illinois, but the company surely welcomes one fewer piece of pending litigation. Now listen, the idea behind the plaintiff Alexander Farouza's suit was that Starbucks instructs its baristas to fill the liquid in iced drinks up to a preset fill line that's not up to the top of the cup, and the remainder is ice, and that's fraud, he claimed. I'm not joking about this. He says the quantities advertised are 12 ounces for a tall, 16 ounces for a grande, and 24 ounces for a venti. But Judge Percy Anderson didn't buy the argument. And he said, and I'm not joking, if children have figured out that including ice in a cold beverage just decreases the amount of liquid that they will receive, that's good enough for me. End of story. And this has been Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I don't know where Les is tonight. Les didn't pop in. The closer. Man, he hasn't closed this show. He's never not been here. Anybody know where Les is? Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by LJ Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Faded by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Big announcement on the website coming up next week, by the way. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication, KGRA, The Planet. Thank you, Jon Rappoport. Thank you, Ronnie McMullen. GetTheT.com. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Tomorrow night, I'm on Coast to Coast. Saturday, I'm on Coast to Coast. Monday, Ruben Langdon is here. Tuesday, Tom DeLong is here. Wednesday, Linda Moulton Howe. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.